Okay, next we're going to have a look at the tanking line, Blood.
Blood?
Okay.
The tanking spec?
Now,
What?
yeah, Blood's the new tanking line. It's got all the tanking things in. Blood Presence is the tanking presence. It increases everything. So they just basically swapped them over. You get Heart Strike on baseline, and then you get Veteran of the Third War, which is a stamina and expertise increase. You get Vengeance, which all the tanks get. So every time you take damage, you get attack power bonus. So you can hit for really hard as a tank when you're tanking a big boss. Quite cool. Big numbers, big threat. It's cool. And the mastery is Blood Shield. So when you cast Death Strike, you get a shield on you, a damage absorption shield equal to 75. I've got quite a lot of masteries, so 76% of the amount healed is a damage absorption shield. Now, Death Strike has been fundamentally changed. It now no longer goes and heals you based on your diseases. It heals you a flat 10% of your health, but it'll heal you for more if the boss has been hitting you hard. So it'll heal you for 30% of damage you have sustained in the preceding 5 seconds. So if a boss mob hits you for 50k, 30% of 50k is about 15k. I think it's... So it'll heal you for that much instead. And it will put a damage absorption shield on you as well. Now, when you think about it, you want to be pressing Death Strike all the damn time to get as many shields as possible. Death Strike still needs 1 Unholy, 1 Frost. Okay, now this is where it gets a bit weird, okay? Because Blood has traditionally been one of these specs where the rotation is that your Death Strikes, okay, will encourage you to cast more Heart Strikes. Right? So, because when you Death Strike with this thing called Blood Rites, these Death Runes are from the Death Strikes I've just been doing. So they will turn to Death Strikes. So now I've got 6 runes which are effectively Blood Runes, and I can cast 6 Heart Strikes. That's the classic idea. But if your Mastery bonus is to heal yourself using Death Strike, surely you want to be using Death Strike? So what is the point of these Death Runes? I don't know. I guess it's up to you whether you want to cast Death Strike or not.
Well, I think it would be a bit overpowered if it affected the ability that you can spam 6 times in a row. I could see it just being ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
So...
but that's not how it works, because obviously the way Death Strike works is it uses 1 Unholy and 1 Frost, so it's pretty rare that you can cast it. The exact timings once you get going, because it takes 10 seconds for each rune to cool down, and only 1 rune can cool down at once. I mean, you can start off by casting 2, but once you're actually rolling in the fight, you're only going to be able to cast 1 Death Strike every 10 seconds. If you were using things that used up your Death Runes, for example, if you wanted to use a Death Rune to pop Rune Tap, or you wanted to do some more Blood Balls, or you wanted to do some Heart Strikes, all of which use Blood Runes, you can then use those Death Runes. But bear in mind, they will still, even though they're Death Runes, they will still cool down independently, the Frost and the Unholy ones. So you'll only be able to cast 1 Death Strike every 10 seconds. However, this will change because of Runic Empowerment, which is the new Death Knight thingy, where there's a 50% chance on Rune Strike, which I might add now has no cooldown, can be cast any time, costs 20 Runic Power. So basically you're pretty much going to be spamming it as a Blood Death Knight. Lots of your runes are going to be coming up randomly, and that may well allow you to Death Strike more. However, the shield from Death Strike doesn't stack, so multiple Death Strikes won't help you. And you don't have a shield, you don't have like any kind of damage resistance there. So, I mean, Death Knight healing is going to be difficult because it's going to be so spiky. Perhaps instead you're supposed to only press Death Strike after you've taken a lot of damage, so you get a lot of healing back. So if we look in the talent tree, I mean, first off, you've got your damage decrease talent. You kind of have to take that, and then you've got a bit of threat here with bladed armor. Kind of have to take that. Now, as soon as you get to this level of the tree, note that improved blood tap worthless. You get this thing called Scarlet Fever, which gives your blood boil 100% chance to afflict your enemies with Scarlet Fever, reducing their physical damage dealt. So you need to cast Blood Boil. So this is the new Blood Boil animation, by the way.
Blimey.
which is awful. And it's the reason I'm probably not going to play a Blood Death Knight in the expansion, because look at it. Look at it.
Because of an animation of an
Well,
ability.
but no, but look,
You're not going to play.
this is what our AoE rotation will be. Okay, you start with Outbreak, you Death Strike, maybe you Death Strike again. You don't have to do that many Death Strikes. You can just do one if you like, and then you go Blood Boil, Blood Boil, Blood Boil.
Oh my god.
Blood Boil.
Oh Jesus Christ, that is irritating.
Isn't that irritating as hell? Oh my god.
Wow.
And then I just do it a bit more. Blood Boil, Blood Boil,
No,
Blood Boil.
please
Do you know what I mean?
Oh
That is my AoE.
god, why?
Isn't that horrible? Jesus Christ. They're going to change it. They must do.
It looks terrible.
But the point is that is
'Cause
what
I
they
remember-
want us to do. They want us to Blood Boil, right? Now,
Right.
to apply Scarlet Fever. Also, it's our main AoE. Death and Decay is good. You know, it's great. It lasts 15 seconds. You can plonk it down anywhere on the field. It's a great AoE ability. It's really good. But they want us to use Blood Boil more, because it gives them that debuff. So you have to use Blood Boil on anything if you're the tank, to stop their to reduce their physical damage. Okay. In Tier 2, we're also probably going to have to take this Scent of Blood, because it will give us more runic power. Okay. Tier 3, Bloodcake Blade is a flat damage increase talent. It's good, but it's damage increase talent. Bone Shield has been moved into Blood. It used to be Unholy, it's now Blood. It still costs 1 Unholy, but it's in Blood. It's okay. It doesn't last very long. It's a small damage reduction. It's okay. Blood,
Yeah.
Bone Shield's Bone Shield.
That's
okay.
what's happened to all of the tanks. They've all got similar abilities now, including that.
Toughness increases your armor value by 10%. All tanks have this. Well, all plate tanks do anyway. And then you've got your Abomination's Might, which is your raid buff. It also increases your strength, but it's okay. It's okay. Sanguine Fortitude you need. This makes your Icebound Fortitude into a proper shield wall. So it increases, it makes it the same as the Guardian of the Ancient Kings that prop paladins have, and it makes it the same as the shield wall that warriors have. It means your Icebound Fortitude reduces all damage taken by 60% for 12 seconds every 2 minutes. Okay, that's standard. You've also got this Improved Blood Presence, which you have to take, because this is your blood critical strike chance reduction, much like you get in the propped paladin tree, where you reduce your melee attacks by 6%.
So there's no defense. It's gone. There's no defense in the game, Lewis.
It's gone.
I don't know if you heard. It's gone.
Then we've got another cooldown here, Vampiric Blood. We've got Rune Tap, which is quite nice. Gives you 15% of your health back any time. I like it. And then you've got your Will of the Necropolis, which has been changed to when a damaging attack brings you below 30% health, your Rune Tap ability is refreshed, and you get a Blood Rune to use it. And you get all damage taken reduced by 25%. So it's kind of like the old Paladin Ardent Defender talent. When you get hit below 30%, you take less damage for 8 seconds, and you'll get a free Rune Tap. However, this only happens once every 45 seconds. Still, it's a decent talent. Okay? Improved Death Strike. Now, this talent here would increase the damage and healing done by your Death Strike by 45% and increase the critical strike chance by 9%. So this makes Death Strike a lot better. It will make your shield bigger, and it will make it hit harder. Doesn't really matter. But the point is that the damage of Death Strike doesn't actually matter anymore. Okay, down at this level we've also got a talent called Crimson Scourge. Now this is a very confusing one, because it increases the damage of Blood Boil, right? So that's saying, Blizzard's saying, you know, I would like you to use Blood Boil, please. And when you Plague Strike a target already infected with Blood Plague, your next Blood Boil will be free. Okay? So it's saying you can have a free Blood Boil if you use
more
Plague Strike.
spams of Blood Boil. No.
And then you've got Dancing Rune Weapon at the end. Now, Dancing Rune Weapon, it's just a defensive talent now.
Huh?
It's the defensive
Is
cooldown.
it?
Yeah. It will give you
What the hell?
20% parry chance while it's active. That's all.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, the weapon's helping you to parry. That's
Okay.
cool.
Now, there's absolutely no reason to be a two-handed DK tank anymore. The reason is because you can pick up this one-handed talent very quickly in the Frost Tree and avoid having, and you can get, you know, that's a really good talent. You get 3% hit from that and a lot of threat. There's no point in using a two-hander because nothing, you can do as much damage and threat with a one-hander. So that's probably something you're going to take. But then again, all of these tier 2 Frost talents, you don't use Obliterate. You don't need that. It's a PvP talent. Speed when mounted, you don't need that. Mind Freeze, you don't need that. PvP talent increases the damage of Death Coil and Death and Decay. Arguably, you don't need that either. So what do you put your talents in? You probably put them in here to get a higher crit hit chance. Probably make your diseases longer to save you the worry with that. Might as well pop one in there. That'll do. Glyph wise, there aren't really anything that boosts your own health, and the only one I could find that was worthwhile was Death and Decay. Okay, which increases the duration of your Death and Decay spell by 50%. Death Strike, that's just a flat damage increase. Heart Strike, that's a flat damage increase. There's not really any good abilities. Now, the Glyph of Blood Boil
It's not very interesting.
is a major
Yes,
glyph,
sorry.
and it will increase the radius of your Blood Boil by 50%. So it's even bigger.
Oh no! Why?
I mean, the thing is, I've played a Death Knight for like 2 or 3 years now. I've tanked a lot as a blood tank. I was a Season 5 Gladiator. I'm not a noob. And this has me completely confused. I don't quite know what I'm supposed to be doing. This class feels like it's something that Blizzard have like roughly converted a DPS class into a tanking class, but left in a lot of the stuff that should have been taken out and changed. It also feels to me like the 30% damage thing from Death Strike is very similar to the 30% block that you now have as a shield tank. So it feels like that number was pulled out of the air because it wants to be the same as block. Also, it feels to me like this class was completely designed without thinking about the new abilities in any way, shape or form. Since, you know, what about using Festering Strike to refresh diseases? Why are we using Plague Strike? So why would I want to use Plague Strike to get a free Blood Boil? Surely you're going to be opening with Outbreak anyway, right? So why are you ever going to need to Plague Strike anything in order to get a free Blood Boil? That just uses up an Unholy Rune, which you need to kind of save for your Death Strikes. I mean, also, Death and Decay and Bone Shield use Unholy Runes, and, you know, they're at a premium if you're trying to get your Death Strikes off. Overall, the rotation is just really slow and sluggish anyway. I'm just confused by this, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Oh my god.
In fact, I hate it. I hate this rotation, and I hate this ability. I hate having to use Heart Strike and Blood Boil. It's like having Shield of Hammer of the Righteous and Divine Storm, for example. Which, you know, why do we need 2? I mean, we have enough threat with this and disease spreading. We don't need Heart Strike to hit 4 fucking targets and Blood Boil to have to be doing that.
It's going to make you
It's just
really
a
good
clusterfuck.
AoE tanks, though. You've got so many AoE abilities. I mean, my god, you got what, Desecration and Death and Decay and Blood Boil and what strike was it that hits multiple targets?
Heart Strike. Yeah.
Heart Strike.
You're so fucking bored, aren't you? I'm sorry. Um,
I'm a little bit bored, but I respect you, Lewis. So I'm quite happy to just let you waffle
I
on.
missed out on Blood Boil, Blood Parasite.
Because I
But
mean, this isn't for my benefit. This is for the benefit of people who play DKs who don't really know the new abilities or the new talents, and who don't actually know how to play their fucking class anymore. I mean, that's what it comes down to, really. The reason that we do these videos is because people have played a class for like 2 years or more, and suddenly it's like they don't know what the fuck they're doing because everything's changed,
yeah,
and
and
it's scary.
it is really odd how much has been changed. I mean, from the whole runic empowerment thing to the changed rune cooldowns to the fact that, blood is now the official tanking tree, but it's still got all these hangover of DPS in it. It still feels like you're meant to spam Heart Strike when you also have to spam Blood Boil because it does so much damage, and you get the free Blood Boils if you Plague Strike. Why would you be Plague Striking when you have this new ability? It's just weird. And I don't like it, and I'm sick of Death Knights, frankly, and I'm re-rolling. I'm probably going to play a Paladin. I'm going to
Oh my
announce it
god.
here. Official announcement on the Yogscast.
Oh my god.
Because it's just horrible. It's just not fun
Lewis to
anymore.
play Paladin, Simon to play Hunter. Everything's just gone topsy-turvy. It's like we're in reverse world.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to quickly take out my...
Dick. Um... That'd be one way of livening up the video. Oh god. Doodad SC Runeforge 03. Oh goodness.
Okay, come back down here. We'll just quickly go through Frost as well, and then you can just die a horrible death.
I don't know how to get out of Ebb and Hold, Lewis.